then you realized how much money you could make doing it on your own because they weren't taking care of you very well. And it's like, well, screw this, I'm gonna go do it on my own. So like, how do we prevent that? Like, we want to teach you to be able to replace us, because the more skills you have and the more things that you can replace us in the business, the more business side of things we can focus on, and training more people and growing the business and marketing and all of those things.
You're investing into a tinter.
Yep.
You're investing into a company in the industry.
You take care of people, they're gonna stick around and be
For
part
sure.
of the team. And like, you actually care about somebody, they're gonna care back.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Born to Tint with the Miller Brothers. Excited to be here again with my co-host, my brother, Josh.
How's it going, everybody? Today we have a very special guest, Bruce Slavich with TRÜ Spray Systems. Known him for a long time, competed against him at the Tint Off. Great guy. We've actually, I don't even know how long we've known each other. It's been a long time, but we're both Solar Guard dealers. We've been using his TRÜ Spray tank now for a year or two and absolutely love it. He's actually in this conversation gonna debut a new product that they launched here at SEMA this year. Talk about his history in the industry, and you can actually pre-order that new system at TRÜSpraySystems.com right now. When this episode airs, that will be available for pre-order. So make sure you check that out. Subscribe, follow, and we've got plenty of other guests that were in town for SEMA that we're going to have episodes coming out here soon, and many more every Wednesday. Thank you.
So, thanks for coming on. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks for having
it. I would say how we've been actually kind of starting these things with at least guys from the industry that I don't think I've ever had in-depth talks with is, how'd you get into tint? And kind of like, we'll go from there.
All right.
Yeah, give us a little bit of your backstory.
I got into tinting through auto trim design back in 87. Well, no, high school.
Okay.
So high school, we were
Common theme.
Yeah. High school, tinting my own car, tinting my buddy's car, and actually, I started doing the pinstriping on the windows. You guys ever see that with the vital signs?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I did the vital signs on the actual windows of the car, and then tinted it from the inside.
Oh, nice.
And then started doing graphics. Worked at Auto Trim Design in Bozeman, Montana, and then was a detailer for a bit, and then I moved up to a window tinter. So we started doing cars, and that was back. That was where. What were those groups? With 3M was brand new. Solar Guard was brand new. What was that? Way before MSC and all that stuff.
DTI.
Yeah,
Solar
DTI.
Guard, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. We still have some of the old paperwork.
Yep.
My dad's original purchases and stuff.
Yeah.
Because my dad hoards everything. But I mean, it's kind of cool to have that stuff too, especially having stuck with Solar Guard for this entire time too, to actually see their development and history. So that's tends to seem like this is going to be a reoccurring thing with a lot of the guys that actually we've talked to so far. Same thing. High school, one tint your car, and then just slowly evolved. So, so started tinting cars. I'll let you go.
Yeah, so we started tinting cars. Went to Auto Trim Design during college for a side job, being the detailer. Moving into that, and then I was out of college. I was a graphic designer, so I went to school for graphic design, and I think that's kind of where I am at now has helped me. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Then moved into selling high-end car stereos and auto for homes, and that was pretty cool. I think I learned my sales techniques there, and then I moved into moved from this. Now this was in Bozeman, Montana, and then so I moved to California with the big dream of being a movie star.
Okay.
Because everyone, I'd be driving down the road and people would be like, Johnny. I'm like, Johnny who? And they're like, Johnny Depp. You're Johnny Depp. I'm like, no, I'm not. I mean, people would be all upset, or Christian Slater, or, I get all these people all the time. I'd be at the bar, someone tapped me on the shoulder. Aren't you Fred? I'm like, no, I'm not Fred. I'm like, oh, you just look just like Fred. So I have that man of many faces, I say so.
So you grew up in Montana,
Or Oregon. So
Okay.
I was born in Eugene, Oregon.
or? Okay.
Eugene.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just had
Cam Haynes.
Oh yeah, but didn't
That's what it rings for me.
somebody else wasn't Scott originally from there? Like we just talked to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our last guest.
Yeah, he's from Oregon. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then moved to Montana for my college or my high school years and college. Went to MSU, Montana State University, and then moved here to be to be a movie star, I guess.
Okay.
Because I literally I had so many people saying that I look like that person. I'm like, maybe I should go be a double for them, you know. So I came out here, and then I actually started working for a tint shop here, pretty well known tint shop, and I was his lead salesman, installer, somewhat, but more of a salesman at that point. And I did a director's home, pronounced prominent director, and I'm like, hey, you know, so like I want to get into the business and be a movie star. And he just looks at me and he's like, well, let me ask you a question. How many movie stars are out there? How many do you think in this whole city are want to be a movie star? And I go, I don't know. And he goes, hundreds and thousands a day. And he goes, how many people can you name right now that are A-list stars? And I go, I don't know, maybe, yeah, like maybe 100. So he goes, what makes you special? And I was like, oh, I guess not. I mean, I'm not. I don't know how to act. I don't know how to do anything. So I'm like, dude, okay. So that kind of blew me out of, you know, just kind of just dampened my dreams. So I just went to be a window tinter, and it was lucrative. And so, you know, I enjoyed it. I was good at it. I felt, and I was, I like that. So when I moved to California, I started just automotive or residential and commercial, because automotive was it's just too much. I didn't have a shop. I was working out of my home, and how cool is that, you know, to be just do residential commercial and being somewhere new all the time, and so that's
another recurring theme in the industry. Like we say it all the time. If we were going to start a new business over again in a new market or whatever, I'd never tint another car. And, you know, we've heard that same thing over and over again. Cody Becker, he's working with his dad, and they do both, but they're phasing out to just do residential commercial. And it's like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it really does.
Tinting cars is fun. It's just a fun thing to do. I mean, as an installer standpoint, you know, I do enjoy installing cars, the challenge of certain back windows and stuff like that, but you are taking on so much more responsibility doing vehicles.
Absolutely.
And you have to do way more of them. The just how our industry lays out in my eyes is, if you want more profit, less problems, residential commercial.
Yep.
Like it hands down. I've stated ad nauseum now. If we were ever to open another store, or if we were to say, if someone were to come along and offer us enough money to buy the company, I would 100% go straight into flat glass and just do flat glass after that if we were to reopen again. And that's it. Like, it makes too much sense. There's too much commercial glass out there. So many residential, like it's never ending. Not that the cars are not never ending, but you're just compiling problems or possible problems that could happen. And
Absolutely. I mean, I think that being able to do a residential job is just much more rewarding in certain aspects. But yeah, cars are a total different animal, right? You're dealing with two different things.
Mm-hmm. And every year you get stuff changed on you, right? Like the windows are
So much to
mostly the
learn.
same. Yeah, there's new systems coming out, and glass technology for residential commercial does have a little bit of a learning curve to stay on top of and make sure you know which coatings are on a window and all of that. But every year, there's manufacturers coming out with new makes and models, and some things change about it. Or Elon comes out and just totally throws a curveball at everybody. And
here's a whole top off a car made of glass.
we're going to make the whole car glass. Like,
Yeah.
Which is nice because we actually get to charge for it.
Yeah, when someone does their entire car and they're picking the premium films, you're anywhere between $1,300 to $1,600, which never thought that would be even possible for a vehicle. So
like when we started, I mean, when I started, it was like $120,
Nope.
you know, and then $300. And then when I came to California, you know, I was dabbling in that, and we were like, you know, $300 to $275, and I'm like, that's just not enough money to do a car for that time, that experience to do that. I mean, I know the film is cheap, but it's your labor, it's your experience.
Luckily, I think the market's matured a lot because people
It
have
has.
had bad
I agree.
experiences with getting the cheap tint job and then seeing the
Yep.
result and how long it lasts. And now they recognize that I don't want the cheapest tint
You know
job.
what I haven't seen is a lot of purpled, bubbled windows as much as I did like maybe
yeah.
back in the day, right? You know,
A lot
let's say
less.
15 years ago.
That's true.
Material's
I've never
definitely
had-
gotten a lot better.
Yeah,
that's-
you
that's
drive
true.
around, you see them,
Yeah,
but
no,
not like
yeah.
you used to see them.
Yeah.
I mean, because how many times your customers like, does it purple? Does it bubble? I mean, I don't get that as much anymore.
You don't,
Well, and
which is
that's-
nice, and that thankfully has pumped up the industry. Thankfully, the technology of the film is getting better and better. It's,
Yeah, the maturity of it. Yeah, like you guys said, that's
What-
perfect. Yeah.
That'll actually help, I think, in the long run, residential, commercial too, because I think that's a lot of reason why a lot of people don't even entertain the idea of tinting their home.
Right.
Is they've seen that
bad
purple
press.
bubbly car and
Yep.
like, oh, I don't want to deal with that on my
Right,
entire house.
or the reflectivity, right?
Yeah.
These old silver mirror
I was
film.
about to say silver.
Yeah.
They see a silver
Those-
film on a building and they're like, "No, that's ugly as hell."
Yeah.
I mean,
And
which
that-
it is. It performs amazingly. Still, I mean, there's a reason why it's still around. It's still a top performing product.
It is.
but it's ugly as sin.
I was just going to say that it does not. I just wouldn't want to use that on anybody's house.
Yeah, especially you put it next to like a slate, and it's like, okay,
Oh yeah,
this performs and it looks great, like,
Yeah.
perfect, and I can see out of it, even better.
yep.
So from there, California, when did you actually open your own business? So you were working for other people, and now you've got your own business. How long have you been doing that for?
Yeah, so I was working for this guy. He was kind of phasing it out, and I was literally doing everything. I was doing the estimates. I was doing the driving around. I was doing the installs. I was doing everything that he was gone. And I was like, well, I just start my own business. And that was in 2000. I was making $300 a week in 2000 with this guy, and I was doing everything. And I was like, okay, so I made $300 a day, just the next day.
Yeah.
Printed out some business cards, went out there, and I was killing it from that day. I was like, wow, this is cool. So
And then when did it take for you to cut off automotive and just go straight?
I was not in automotive at
Oh,
at
you
any
you,
point at that
you
point, yeah.
initially just started straight to flat.
Yeah, I
pack.
think I
Smart.
stopped automotive in 94 or 5.
Okay.
So I tinted, maybe about 8 years I tinted cars.
I'm assuming that the transition from cars to flat. Were you cars first? To begin
Yeah, it was
with?
cars first,
and
yeah.
then you transitioned to flat. So how was that transition? Easy.
It was totally easy, yeah, because that was my mindset, right? So I love cars, I love doing that, but transitioning, it was more of how I felt. I'm a more professional person, so I wanted to be more that professional. Whereas cars didn't, like there was the stigma back then. In that time was like, oh, you're a car tinter.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm a dirtbag? What? I mean, what are you talking about? Like, so when I said, no, I do residential and commercial, and they're like, oh, well, that's interesting. What does that mean? So it was a big conversation,
Yep.
and I could dress nicer. I would go to people's homes. I would learn my chops better, speaking to people and stuff like that. So it was engaging and fun for me. That was exciting to talk to people like that and be in those homes. So.
Yeah, still to this day, that's one of my favorite parts of it. That's
Yeah.
why that's the part of the business I focus on. Is it's actually enjoyable going on a sales call and going into someone's. They're already interested. They're kind of already almost sold.
Yeah.
What is it? What's your actual problem? Let's identify that. Are you looking for privacy or heat rejection, or and what can I actually achieve for you? And then actually going and installing it and having that reaction, especially when you're installing a window in direct sunlight. And it's like a sliding glass door.
My favorite thing to do.
And you get that one window done and say, hey, come stand right here, and
Yeah.
then take a step to your right. And they're like, oh, it really
especially-
works.
especially with highlight.
Oh, yeah.
It amazes me still. Like I could put highlight up there, and then I do the one window and I go over to the other side. I'm like, holy crap!
Yeah, it
I
excites me when I'm
yeah,
installing
yeah.
it. Like,
Well, I
oh,
get
this really
goosebumps.
works.
I even tell my customers, I'm like, I have goosebumps. Like, and they're like, wow, you really like your job. I'm like, I'm passionate.
Yeah.
I really enjoy this.
Yeah, it helps sell it, and it helps on every other aspect of it when you know the product works. Like
Yeah.
you have so much confidence. Like what I'm selling you, I'm not just trying to like get your money.
Yeah.
I know this is actually going to work.
Oh yeah, no, that's by far that's the one thing that it is extremely satisfying doing that, because it's the instant feel like, all right, I'm actually doing something for you. And here, you can come stand, put your arms out, feel it. And instantly they are instant relief. Like, okay, I made the right decision.
Yep.
Like this is going to help. This is going to reduce the heat in my house. Like and then it's like I said, instant gratification. And they then are like, all right, I'm going to leave you alone now, and they go disappear.
Or they go grab their neighbor and go, you got to come see this,
Yes,
and then you do the whole
that's
street.
happened many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
But the money is all was the big kicker. Right?
Yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
You can make so much more money doing that. So yeah.
So you would say that installing wise, like just from the pure installation aspect of it, though, from going from cars then to flat,
Yes.
easy transition.
For me, it was because I molding windows, heat shrinking, being stuck in the back of a car, and pulling door panels off, breaking parts, all that stuff. Right? That's hard.
Yep.
That takes a lot of work. Even though I was really good at it, I was probably one of 2 in Bozeman, Montana, that tinted cars. So it was cool, So I was like, oh, I want my shop and everything like that. So I had a good time doing that, of course. But yeah.
Yeah, no, because that's the other reoccurring thing that we had conversations about. It's wouldn't open the auto side if we were to reopen, and then the auto guys that and I talked to a couple this week, even at SEMA, like they asked me in my opinion on just between auto and flat, and I tell them the same thing. I tell everybody flat. I do flat in a heartbeat, and then also just the learning curve. If you already know how to tint a car, I would say the right training, and it doesn't have to be necessarily that long of training either, you can transition to tint flat glass.
Yeah.
Really easy. Because if you can tint a car for all the reasons you just listed too, like you got to hop in the back, you got to mold it. You got so many more things that you have to deal with auto. Putting you in front of a piece of flat glass, yes, we have different frames that we got to deal with. Like a commercial frame, if it's just say commercial glass and it's pull rubber, give me a week. I'll get you. You'll be an amazing tinter in a week if you're going from auto to flat. Now you start getting to custom homes and stuff. You got wood frames, weird applications where you have to
arches.
Yeah, arches.
I love those. Yeah. I love challenges like that.
But it's like those are the little curveballs that flat throws at you. It's about that, and that's just going to come with installing on those windows, and
absolutely.
then getting passed down the techniques that maybe work for somebody. And then either, giving that a try, and maybe you do find a little way to do it differently. And that's if anything, I could see more technique coming out with flat glass from an auto guy hopping into flat. Yeah. Because he's going to look at something completely different when it comes to the flat glass part of it, and probably find a better way, or could find a better way to do something. I really think when it comes down to it, if I had to switch all of my auto guys to flat, give me about a month, and I'll have them up to the point of where they'll be doing absolutely almost
which
everything.
We're not planning on doing.
No.
So everything, like, this is something that we keep saying, but like, if we were to start from scratch, we wouldn't do auto. But where we're at now, being how we've got the clientele that we have the crew that we have, like that took time to build up, and that's what would be the pain from the start. But since we already have it built up, it does feed our residential commercial. Those car customers that are spending $2,000 to tint a Tesla, or $3,000 if we're putting paint protection on it. Those are great residential customers also, and there's plenty of cross-selling that happens. So it's like we're not planning on getting rid of our auto just because we're already in a situation where
established name. Yeah, the name established.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah, community knows us. They like it.
Yep. It would be hard for you guys. Like, let's just say today you started your business and you're going to do flat glass only. That'd be hard. Yeah, that'd be hard to go out there and try to do that.
With the knowledge we have now, I don't.
Well, with no knowledge.
No
knowledge whatsoever. You're just gonna go. I'm gonna go start a flat glass business.
Yeah,
especially because there's not a lot. That's why we're doing this, honestly, and why we want to make more content on training and teaching people the little fine details on stuff. Is there's a lot of content out there right now teaching people how to do automotive, and there's hardly any on the actual architectural side. So there's more than there would have been in the past when there was no YouTube, right?
Right.
But as far as what's being addressed to the window film industry, there's a lot of really good stuff out there, and channels that are big. Detroit Tint Studio and Roach, Window Tint Warrior. There's there's a bunch of people that are actually making a lot of really good content teaching people how to do automotive.
Yeah.
There's not much out there for flat glass. So it's like we want to have conversations with people like you that are experts in architectural, made the finals at the Tint Off. Second
Second place.
last year,
Yep.
right there with me.
First time ever competing. Got second place.
Yeah. So, I mean,
it's
you
crazy.
clearly know what you're doing,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yeah.
so we want to have people like you on to, like, so we can learn from you. Like, there's definitely things you've learned along the way that.
I should have worn my medal. We should all wear medals. Yeah.
He'd have his trophy on his shoulders all the time if he could.
please.
Several medals on you. Yeah.
So, tool wise, this is something that we've brought up with a couple people now. Like, everybody remembers starting with like a yellow turbo and a white card. Where we've come now with tools is pretty wild. And that kind of brings us into the next step of your career. Not
Yeah.
only do you have your window film business where you're installing, you've now created some products for all of us to use, which make my life and my guy's life easier every single day because we're using the TRÜ Spray tanks every single day. I think we've got like 6 of them now, so maybe 7.
Oh, even
I
in
don't
the
know,
shop,
I
too,
lost
we use
count.
them.
The shop uses them too.
Paint
Protection
uses
uses
them.
them every day too. So,
Yeah.
how did you recognize that need? And how did you like come up with the idea? And how long did it take to actually execute it on? Because I know it wasn't just available one day.
Right. I mean,
what brought you into that?
I mean, the need for a tank. I mean, I have my old tank, and just going. So going to have a 5-gallon tank. It's in the back of my truck, just sitting up there, full 100 psi. Going to a job, hour away, driving along, get there. There's no pressure in my tank. What the hell happened? The PRV valve opened up and just released all the air.
We've all been there.
Half my water's out of the in the back of my truck. I'm like, geez Louise. Okay, so now what am I gonna do? So now I gotta find a gas station. Where's the gas station? Okay, so go to there. Oh, don't have the right chuck. It's dirty air. It's like, what the heck is going on? So actually, the first tank. So that was like after. So I'm jumping ahead. So I think the first kind of keg type tank thing I had was Home Depot. Went and got one of those herbicide sprayers, and you pump it up.
Yep.
And I had those forever, and I had the big plastic ones, the biggest as you can get, right?
Yeah.
With the terrible hose on it, right?
Yep.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Reinforced, heavy, can't even bend hose, and I remember. I remember it was only 60 pumps. You had to do 60 pumps every single time, and that would give me my perfect pressure. It was hilarious. Even when I had my workers, I was like, dude, 60 pumps. You got to do 60 pumps.
Yeah.
Really adamant about that, right? And then I'm like, oh, maybe I could drill a hole in there because I saw some things around. I mean, this is before internet. I was actually before the internet or even social media. Right, so I saw someone like, let's put a bicycle valve in there. I'm not admitting that I'm not saying that I invented this, but put a little bicycle valve in there, and filled it up. I'm like, oh, that's genius. That's so awesome. And then I blew the seams out of the plastic tank several times, and then Home Depot stopped selling those, or the stores. I'm like, okay, so I went to found a tank from Coca-Cola, those used tanks. And then it started just filling that one up, and that was genius for a while. And then saw some things here and there, and I'm like, okay, so I saw these iterations of an airless or what, like a pump here or this or that there, and I was like, well, I'm going to put something together, and created the TRÜ Spray Systems. Yeah, so it was during COVID, right before COVID. I started resourcing everything that I need for it, and it just took a total. It was the perfect time because I didn't have much jobs going on.
Yep.
So I was able to really focus on that, design exactly what I want, find the right products, and then go through the trial and error of that it was probably 2 or 3 years of that. And then,
Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing you launch it on Tint Wisdom and was like, oh, this is cool. Because I'd been talking about for years, like, we need some type of system like that. Even at the shop, I was always saying, we need to have some giant tank and have a way that you just have hoses. But this solution actually is the best that has ever come up. And it was like, oh, we got to get these and try these. You name some of the problems with using the regular 5-gallon tanks and just airing them up. You might lose air, and if you don't have, I had those problems where I'd have to drive to a gas station and air it up, and then eventually I found an inflator. So I'd have an inflator that I could just keep on me, and if I needed to re-air it up, I could, but that's still going to take a couple minutes, and how long is that battery going to last? And now maybe the air didn't come out, but you didn't mix your solution right.
Right.
And you need to adjust your solution. Now you have to let the air out. You got to
Yeah,
adjust
there
it.
you go.
Hope that it's right the first try, because you got another 5 to 10 minutes of the inflator filling the air back up, because maybe you don't have all the water in there anymore. And it's just like, and this is a nightmare. And as soon as I saw that come out, and I was like, we have to try this. This is amazing. We can leave the tank open. We can adjust the solution on the fly.
Yeah.
That was the big ad for me. Like, that's the huge value add right there, is being able to mess with your tank. Because you never cease to fail that at least once a week you would fill your tank, and you're like, air it up. Oh, did I put soap in there?
Right. Or how much soap, or you go to the job site and it's like I needed more soap or less soap.
Sun's on, heavy sun on the window.
Yeah, and then you're just like, you're devastated. Your day is now ruined from that. So now you have to you have to.
Yeah, if you don't have the inflator, you're driving to the gas station, right? Like,
Yeah, I had an air compressor.
nother-
I had bought an air compressor, like the 2-stage one, like a real good one that nail gunners use. And that thing was so damn loud. And, the customers were like, what the, they're shocked when I turn it on. Okay, I'll go outside. Like trying to figure out how to fill this up with all that noise. And it took about 8 to 10 minutes to fill it up, put it all in there, and have to fill it up again because there's not enough air to get that to that 90 that I want.
Yeah.
And it's fluctuating. The tank is fluctuating.
Yeah, you lose
with
pressure
water.
all day long.
Yeah, with the water though too. So
Yeah.
so if I'm only I have a third of the left of the tank of water, that's going to take me three full revolutions of that air compressor, the small one, the portable one, right, to fill that up. It's like it's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's even more noticeable, especially like for us, if we have 3 vans out and all 3 guys are having issues with tanks, like how much time is being burned up, It's like knowing that it's just going to be good all day long and that's one less thing you have to worry about is so nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
It really does save us a ton of time. So thank you for doing what you've done for the industry, because it's definitely benefited us in a huge way. So the fact that like we would talk about like, there's several tools in the past that we've talked about need to be made, and fortunately people like Nick and like you and many others have actually come through and said, you know what, I need to fix this problem because it's hurting me, and have actually done it. So
I coin myself as the pioneer of the airless spray system to market. I'm not. I don't claim to have invented that. Just as a disclaimer, so that people don't get ruffled feathers. Because there was things out there, but I brought it to market in a professional manner, I feel.
And it totally is too. When you get it, the packaging is like, oh wow, this is like legit. Like that was one of the first things I noticed opening up was like, oh, this has a QR code to scan how to like
Use it.
Yeah, which is a video to pop up to use it is like genius. All right, like everything should come with that.
Like that
why do I
wouldn't
need
have
to
been-
read instructions when somebody could have put a video together to directly explain how to use this thing?
Yeah, because I was like
nowadays.
My buddy who is a car audio specialist, he actually builds amps and subwoofers for Alpine.
Okay.
And then he actually had to make a manual for the Alpine amps, right? So I'm like, oh. So how do you do this? And he's telling me, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't do that. I can't build a big manual on how to use the TRÜ Spray system, right? And I'm like, QR code.
Yeah.
Excellent. Do a video, QR code it. It's like that wouldn't have been available 10 years ago.
Nope.
Yeah.
So like the invention of this, the release of this, and the timing of all this was just perfect. I mean, for the industry, I would say.
Yeah.
It needed it. And it was kind of a thing that was needed, but no one really did it.
Oh yeah, no, that's our industry.
Because you can make do with what you've got, right? Like, how long did we use a yellow turbo and a white card cut in half when there probably was other
The 5-way
options?
tool where you cut it in 5 different ways.
Yeah, it takes a while to. Even we were just talking with Scott about using a film handler.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, those are.
Still
people
tough.
are very stubborn about just I can cut it out of a box on the ground, so they just keep doing it, and it's like
Well, I have to admit that I do still cut out of the box.
we will occasionally if we have to on a job.
I just cut out of the box.
Yeah.
I don't even use my film handler. I have had a film handler for.
Oh,
I've had a film handler for
It took-
25 years, and I've used it maybe 25 times.
Oh man, you're missing out. I'm telling you right now. It took me forever to convince him, but especially now that we've scaled up to and have more people, it's even because you can train a new person to use that thing and cut patterns
Well, yeah, of course.
perfectly, really quickly.
Cutting out of the box is
You're
an art.
probably fantastic cutting out of a box and not wasting a bunch of film.
Yep.
But that takes a while to get good at. Right. So
And I've been doing it for so long. It's easy.
Yeah.
I'm quicker.
Exactly.
Setting up the film handler, adjusting it, this and that, pulling it. It's just too much. I am a person that needs to get in the house and out of the house.
So
out of
this
the
is
customer's
why this
hair
is my
as
argument
fast as I can.
for using the film handler.
Yeah.
If you have your measurements exact
Mm-hmm.
and you've got your systems in place, we pretty much 95% of our jobs now show up with every pattern already cut. So what's faster than showing up and just start installing?
Well, that's
You
what
don't
I
have
do.
to-
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. So that's what I do. I think you guys do that too,
Okay.
right? You pre-roll or you pre-cut
Yeah.
the night before.
Yeah.
You re-roll it, not too tight.
Yep.
Don't do it too tight.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, but yeah, so that I
Okay.
pre-cut everything.
Okay, so you're
but I
not
cut
bringing
out
the
of box.
boxes in
Yeah,
and still cutting. Okay.
No, so
because that's what we did for the longest time. We bring
Yes.
every roll in some
Unload all
house.
the boxes.
You might have 3 different types of film
Yeah.
going on a house and 3 different size rolls for each film, and now you got to bring all that in. You got to put a drop down, cut it like. The tinner,
Find the area
typically the
to
most
cut it.
experienced person is the one doing it. So if you do have someone else with you, they're prepping and cleaning, but no windows are being tinted yet.
Mm-hmm.
And you might spend the first hour and a half of a job, if it's a decent sized
Oh,
job,
of course. Yeah,
cutting
totally.
patterns.
100%.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Like,
so here's a funny story is when I was just started my business. I took a roll of film in, and it had the wrong box cover over it. Okay, so I took it in there. It was all pre-rolled. I pre-cut everything. Just put the wrong box cover on there. Went into the job. This is a high-end client. I'm done. I'm walking out. I'm walking with my box out, and he looks at the box and he's like, "That's not the one I ordered." And I go, "It is." And I look at him like, "Oh my God, how am I gonna get?" Like, I can't convince him that it's the film. And it was one shade lighter. He made me redo the whole house because I brought the wrong box cover in, even though it was the right film. Even after I compared it, and he just didn't believe me. So I stopped.
wow.
I stopped taking boxes in houses after that.
So we bring our
That makes
patterns
sense.
in boxes, and sometimes they don't actually match the film that we're using because we'll
Yeah,
keep
but we have it
extra
marked
boxes.
up, though.
Yeah, so we print labels. So using Tint Wiz now, we'll actually you can pull up the sheet of all your measurements, and you can actually copy and paste everything out of there into Excel, put it into Brother's label printer, and print out all the labels that I've already got like a template made for.
Yeah.
So it'll have the room that it goes to, which film it is,
that's
the
great.
address of the
Yep,
job.
that's great.
If it's a window or a door, if it's tempered or not, everything, width and height. So it's like we print those out and cut everything ahead of time, and then we stick that onto the liner side of the film where we know it's going to end up being the top. So once it's done being rolled up, it's on the liner side of the film where you can see it, and we just throw all those into typically like the bottom of a box. Sometimes it might be the top of a box, but everything's labeled as to what film it is.
Yeah.
So even if somebody did see like the box lid we threw it in isn't the film they're supposed to be getting, we can show them like, look, no, this is the film we cut
Yeah,
out.
and that was just a weird one-off
Yeah,
thing too.
yeah,
But it's just
yeah,
like one of those
yeah.
things you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and other things like when we pre-roll, if it's factory edge on top, I'll put the tape right in the middle.
Yep.
And
We
I'll
do
put
the
it-
same
I'll
thing.
put an arrow and then the size
Yep.
and room, right? And then if it's on that side, I'll put the tape off
Yep.
or off, right? And then
Yep.
the arrow that way. So it's little fun things to do that. But yeah, pre-rolling or pre-cutting before the job saves you so much time, and it's way more professional. And that's what I actually do when I go into a job and I'm estimating. I go and this is where we all pre-cut this, and it's so that we're not in your house laying cardboard boxes all over your house, cutting off your floor and all this stuff. And they like that, so that we come
absolutely.
prepared
Yeah.
for a job, a professional job.
That we transitioned to that during the lockdown was like, how can we reduce the amount of time we're on a job? Because I was trying to sell us on doing that, but there was always the fear that the measurements would be wrong or the person would change the color of film. But because actually we're able to use Tint Wiz in a way now that we're so systematized that we know if there's measurements or a chance that the color is going to be changed, there's notes in there letting you know, like, don't cut it. So there will be occasions that we will bring it on site and cut it.
Yeah.
But even then, most of the time, I'm bringing a film handler, setting it up and cutting it, just for the fact that, well, I'll always have a factory top.
Yeah.
Oh, that's,
Well, and then if you do go to the house and you set up a film handler in their house too, right? That looks professional.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
super professional.
You're
Yeah.
not just trying to
Yeah.
take up a huge spot, laying out all your pads, and then pulling patterns out. No, at the end of every cell, usually if the customer will ask, like, all right, so what happens next? And it's like, all right, well, gotten all the measurements. Now, as soon as we were able to pick a shade and all that, it's like, I hope my crew will cut the entire job at the shop. They're going to show up patterns in hand, walk in, and just start working. They'll lay pads down in front of every window. They're going to put microfibers and just go through the whole spiel. Microfibers in the window seals. You know, if when they clean the windows, everyone will ask, do I get my windows cleaned? I'm like, no, because you're about to have the best window cleaners, period.
That's what I always say too.
Clean your windows.
Exactly. They're like, should I pre-clean the windows? And I go, if he does, even if he did it today, I would have to come back and redo the whole thing. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. I think obviously all tinners would agree with this, but window tinners are the best window cleaners. We have to be.
Yeah.
We have to have a perfect surface when it comes down to it, as close to perfect as humanly possible.
Absolutely.
So, you know, you tell them, like, you know, wet everything. Microfibers is going to soak up the water. If there is any overspray anywhere, guys are going to wipe that up instantly, and just, you know, set that expectation. But when you go through that whole spiel and tell them what you're going to lay out for them, they're like, all right, sounds good. And then when the guys called 30 minutes beforehand, show up, walk in, patterns in hand, it's like that level right there that already gets them to start they either leave a review or they start talking to the neighbors, and then that's how you end up in that street or in that neighborhood, hopefully for a long time.
Yeah, and I think professionalism is the key, right? So you can't come in there, if you come in there professional and you sound professional and you sell yourself professional and you come in and do a professional job, you're gonna get the results that you're looking for.
Yeah. I had a job
around.
recently where the customer had 3 local companies bid it, including us. They went with somebody else, I think, for price, and they showed up and like weren't gonna lay anything down. They didn't have anything cut ahead of time. And they even asked to fill their squirt bottles up in the sink. and the guy was like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this. And
Wow.
And then called us up and had us come do it. And while I'm doing it and I'm using the TRÜ Spray tank, he was like, oh my God, you don't need to use my water. And like, that was one of the things he highlighted as being like a perk for him, was like, oh, okay, this is a different operation.
Right. And that's one of the key reasons why, I spent so much time designing the tank wrap and whatnot, is because, and then the system. So when you walk in, you look professional, right?
Yeah.
You're walking in with the system. They're like, what is that? It's a conversational piece that that you can talk to them about, and they're excited. And in fact, when I go to a job and I'm doing an estimate, I actually show them the promo videos, and I go, this is what I'm going to be using in your house. This is what we developed. And they're excited, and I usually get the job because of that.
Yeah, I always highlight it to customers. They a lot of times they'll bring it up themselves, but I'll mention, like, this is new, this didn't exist, and this makes our life so much easier. We don't have to use your sink. I can play around my soap solution, which means we can be faster and more efficient.
Yep.
And they love it.
It's definitely walking onto the job is having the proper tools and stuff like that, and walking in and adding that extra level of professionalism where they see that, and it definitely is a conversational piece. Every time I've used one, for the most part, when I'm on a residential job, which isn't that many these days, but when I am, it's, they see it and they're like, what's that? And as soon as you start using it too, instantly sparks a conversation.
Yeah.
And they also look at the fact that, all right, you're investing in your tools and what you're using to actually do the job. Like, it just puts them at ease. They're like, all right, you're doing your thing. Like top down, from the sales, using Tint Whiz, all the notifications, all that, up to the installers walking in with the proper tools.
And clothing too, right? Like, so properly dressed uniform, I think, is a big
huge
thing. I mean, look at, like, when I roll in with a suit on, I get a little bit more respect than someone.
Well, then you stick out. Like,
Sticking out, yeah.
You compared to everything else. I mean, that's one of the big things we also get, like, Tint Whiz. Like, a lot of our local competition, at least, I don't know if anyone else does use it, but I know that I've gone in against bids where I'm like, oh, do you have a piece of paper? Are you gonna hit
Right.
it? I'm like,
or writing
just got a link.
writing it
Yeah.
down, you know, like on a
Yep. Yeah. It's like, all right, and
old
I
school.
just sent your proposal, and it comes in a text and in an email, and they click and they open it. They're like, oh
It's
my
got
God.
picture examples, interior, exterior,
Yep.
whatever film that's being bid. It's got
Amazing.
the brochure. It's got a bunch of attachments to it. It's just like, oh, this is different.
Having that extra thing is just, again, it's just another way to separate yourself from everybody else.
Yep.
You know, they see the extra steps that you've taken as your business that, you know, you show that, like, hey, like, I really care about what I do.
Excelling to the next level,
Exactly.
you know, above your competitor.
Yeah, it allows us to be more efficient to where we don't have to raise our prices as much as we might need to. And the fact that that digital proposal, if they don't approve it right then and there, but they decide later after talking to their spouse in the evening that they do want to go ahead and do it, they click approve. We immediately get that. We get an alert, and somebody contacts them to schedule, and that's not them calling you specifically
Right, and they
while
might even
you're on
forget
a
about
job
it.
or
It
event.
might even take another 2 or 3 days before because they get busy. That's easy. Just click, boom, you're done.
Get the automatic notifications of like, hey,
You can start
got any
scheduling
questions?
it.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
You start the ball
Immediate
rolling.
follow-up where sometimes people aren't getting contacted back even to go do an estimate. You know, like it'll be like, we called 4 people, you're the only one that responded.
Oh, I hear that all the time.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Or you're the only person that showed up.
Yeah.
Or wow, you're clean. Or what? Like,
Showed up
nice
on time.
truck. You know, like
Yeah.
all this stuff. All that
You,
stuff.
you took your
matters,
shoes
right?
off without me even having to ask you.
Yeah, that's one I get a lot, and like that used to, like for me, like installing wise, I've tried the booties. I can't. I have to be barefoot. I'm so used to installing barefoot that like every time I put like they're like, oh,
Well,
you can wear
socks.
booties. Well, socks, yeah,
Not
socks.
entirely
I'm not
barefoot.
entirely barefoot, but wearing
I was
shoes.
like barefoot. Like, what? That's a little weird.
Wearing shoes.
I've
in
had a
general.
new guy
Can you cut
come
your
on a
nails,
job
please?
and have like sandals on and just walk in barefoot, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Ooh.
He's no longer with us.
Okay. Never mind.
I know that guy.
I know who. Never mind. But no, it's like the first thing I do when I walk up to the door is before like, and people will get like almost like a word in, and I'm already popping my shoe off, and they're like, "Thank you," and like already right there, I just separated myself from everyone else they've had come over because that's usually what the follow up statement is. Yeah, the past two guys just walk straight in and they take their shoes off. Or they had to, you know, the customer had to actually ask them. Like, the first thing I say is, like, no, this is mandatory.
Yeah,
all
you're,
my guys
you're
have to take
walking
their
into
shoes off.
someone's house, man. You need to be respectful for everything, and you're talking about like covering things, right? So like we sell a drop cloth, butyl backed canvas drop cloth on our website. That you know, because we're trying to sell you we're trying to sell you a product, but then help you install even better.
Yep.
So drop cloths are a big thing, I think. So we what we do is we tarp the whole floor, tarp all the furniture, anything that the spray is going to get on, and they like that. They see that and they're like,
Oh, yeah.
that's
So is that something that's I didn't even know you guys had that. How big are they, and is it something that
they're
you
like
can
a
get?
4x15 or 4x12.
And is it something that can be branded in your? No. Okay.
No, it's
Because we've done that before. We've taken our drops and
I
actually
know.
had them screen printed.
Yep.
with
Oh yeah,
a-
I used to do that, but just the canvas ones. We'd have I'd have canvas ones, but those don't soak up any water and they're slippery.
Yeah.
So the one that
blow
that
through
one that I
them.
have, I think works out well for me. It's not for everybody, but I just add that to my website so that someone who is doing a residential commercial business, they're like, oh, this is a one-stop shop type thing.
My dad definitely has it beat into my brain. Wherever we can put our logo, put our logo.
Yeah, no doubt.
Brand at
That's
all
one thing I
times.
know about you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like our buckets that we normally put micros in, and we've got them that the dry ones at the start of the job, and then we've got a wet bucket that like we now have labeled with our stuff.
Hey,
And
that's what
one
it-
says
you know-
wet, one says clean. It's that extra little bit of professionalism that when
Absolutely.
you come in and the customer sees that and sees that you're taking the wet ones and you're putting them in.
Absolutely, every little thing that customer might see that is important.
Oh, absolutely. And then that leads into, beyond that, them leaving a review. And then they talk about those things. Like, it does nothing but help sell.
Yep.
Again, furthering yourself, separating yourself from your competition, and just bettering yourself makes it to where you don't have to worry about devaluing yourself and going, oh, I got to drop my price.
So
No, you're not. You're you're buying, what you're purchasing when you use our company is the experience, the knowledge, the professionalism to make sure everything is done the right way and nothing gets messed up in your home, and that you can trust that what we're doing, that we're going to get the job done for you and take care of your job every single time.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
you know,
Exactly.
So this kind of ties right into it. I know that we've had some ladder jobs. We always have some crazy ladder jobs or whatever. Sometimes they're so far up that the hose from a tank is a struggle to get up there, or you might drop it, and now you risk breaking stuff. I know he, for the most part, if he's going up on a ladder window, still just brings a squirt bottle up because he's afraid of dropping the hose, or maybe it's not going to reach. I know I've had scenarios where all I've had on me is a tank and it doesn't reach because I didn't have a long enough hose, and I've got to like set it on top of a ladder, and it's like, that doesn't look very professional, but I can get the job done. I know that you guys have a new product that might solve that actually would help us actually look more professional when we're up on a ladder.
Absolutely.
So,
I remember.
So what?
I remember my first iteration of that situation you just talked about. I would take a bungee cord, wrap it around the handle, bring it up to the ladder about halfway, and then bungee it on there.
We've done that.
And, you know, like
we've done that with
then you
old
get
pump
up there.
sprayers too.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
wrapped around a couple times, and it's just sitting there bobbing.
Yeah.
Ay.
which is sketch.
So
just a bit.
It worked.
back in when I was developing the TRÜ Spray system, the keg attachment, I had a couple collaborator like friends that were would talk to me, and they said, "What do you think about a backpack?" And I go, I don't know about that. I mean, how many would I sell of that? Because I was focused on the tank, right? 'Cause the industry has tanks. So I'm like, that's interesting. And so I drew up the backpack, and I drew up the TRÜ Spray. So in that time when I was developing the TRÜ Spray, I was developing a backpack, but it was on the back burner because I can't do two products. Right?
Yeah.
You just can't come out with a bunch of products. So after the success of TRÜ Spray Systems, I was like, it's time to now move it, because we just launched our version 3 of the TRÜ Spray system. Did you guys get one of those? With the
No, I didn't know there was a third version. This is new.
well,
to me.
you should have gotten. I think your newest one
Is it?
is it was at WFCT when we had. So they're shipping right now the newest of
Okay,
the
yeah,
pouches.
no.
So everything else
Oh,
is
it's the new.
yeah.
Okay, that's the that was the especially the first version. That was like really the only issue we had was the pouches.
Yeah, so the first version, obviously, there's
Yeah, which
all
was
the
expected. I
growing
kinda knew
pains
that
and
that
stuff
would be
like
the
that,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
But you've
And
been
then-
great on taking care of us, and
Well, that's
yeah.
what that so working in high end audio and visual, and working at high end houses and stuff like that. When I built TRÜ Spray, my number one goal was to have customer satisfaction. Okay, so when you buy a product, when you're paying for that product and it's already made professionally, I want all my customers to feel that they're going to be taken care of, right? Yep. So, instead of buying from Amazon, who are you going to call when it's broke?
Yeah.
Right. So you can call me. We'll take care of it. We'll fix it. We have the replacement parts. It's under warranties. You get warranties of that. So it's I think a better system to go with, right? Yeah. I'm sure you guys can agree, but yeah,
No, absolutely.
So the new system.
yeah.
Is it so the battery? I got to take a peek of it at SEMA. I know you got one here with you.
Yeah.
The battery is interchangeable with the one you use with your tank system.
Yeah,
it's the same battery.
Yeah, so basically it's a TRÜ Spray system in a mobile pack. So you can carry the TRÜ Spray system on you with a hydration pack on there. So it's a full mobile system.
Okay. And what's the name of this one?
This one's called the TRÜ Active.
TRÜ Active.
Yeah.
Okay.
TRÜ Active. It's a mobile sprayer pack. The actual technical name of it is ready. The original utilitarian airless electronic sprayer mobile spray pack system.
TRÜ Active is good.
I say TRÜ Active. Yeah, TRÜ Active.
Let me get my little card here.
But you should make that a sticker though.
Yeah.
List and just
I
as,
actually do have a sticker.
with all that. Yeah, that's
Absolutely. You want to?
Or a
They have a
TikTok
sticker.
or something. That would be good.
Yeah, they have a sticker.
list out that entire name. Just like
Yeah.
What is it? Here you go.
Actually, the
Have fun reading
sticker.
that.
If someone wants to give me a sticker, I'll show you guys that sticker. Here it is right here. If you guys can.
It is listed at the bottom. Let me see that.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's that's the first sticker out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is killer. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we're trying to set ourselves apart from the backpacks that was first. Like when I first started thinking about a mobile pack or something that you can use on a ladder or something like that back 3-4 years ago. I wanted something unique, and then obviously something came out prior to this that was a backpack. So I wanted to make it this pack is actually a utilitarian pack, so it's made exactly for the TRÜ Spray Systems.
The timing of this is kind of funny because after going to WFCT, I hadn't really thought of the ladder utility. I kind of thought of that system as being more for auto guys, and it was like, I need tanks. I don't need that.
Yeah.
And talking to people at WFCT, they were like, I use it on the ladder all the time, and I was like, oh.
Yeah,
see,
right.
I was like, oh.
Scaffolding,
So I
ladder.
was entertaining, like, I want to try one of those just for that, to have an extra tool for that. I'm still going to use my tanks for the majority of everything.
Yeah,
but
and that's I mean, this TRÜ Active is not a substitute or an end all be all over a tank, right? You got to have a tank.
Or maybe a
the
small
mobile
job,
spray
right?
Pack, yeah, mobile spray pack is another set of tools, right?
Yeah.
It's not just, okay, I'm just going to buy the TRÜ Active and be able to do everything. You can't do that.
Yeah, no, that's
well,
how.
you can, but
at
it's
least
like
that's
really
how I'm
difficult.
looking
Yeah.
at it on the consumer side of
Yeah.
it. Just so you know, like I see it as an extra tool.
Extra tool.
I'm still definitely using tanks every day.
Absolutely.
On a small project where I know I just got to go do 2 windows or it's something on a
Yeah.
ladder. Like, cool, I can grab that.
Yeah, it's so cool just to like grab it on, grab it on. We've had this out for we've been using it for about a year, and then now we've perfected it, and then that's why we're really excited to debut it here at SEMA. So
Yeah,
it had been a year and a half actually that
Okay.
we were that we've been using one. So
Testing them. And
yeah,
everything.
testing them and stuff like that.
So
So,
they're
yeah.
comfortable. I got to wear it last night, and they feel comfortable. I can't wait to use one. So
Yeah, what were you saying? Like the buckle?
The clip. The clip
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
I should have looked up which pack it was, but because of my running, I have a bunch
Yeah.
of different hydration packs, and I've bought in multiple different brands now. One of the brands I've stuck with lately is called Orange Mud, but there's one other one I can't think of the
Still
name.
can't think of that.
But it has the exact type of clip, and that's one of the things I actually loved about that hydration pack is just the comfortability of how and exactly actually how it goes together and how it feels and sits on your shoulders. I'm excited to use it to go on this anything, just like even small jobs. Like now it's even more of a, I would say, wow factor for a customer in the fact that now you're walking, now I don't got to bring this, like if you are just doing 2 doors or something like that in the customer's house, and like you have the 3-gallon tanks, you have the smaller tank that you can bring in, but now instead of lugging the tank in, I'm just throwing my belt on, throwing the backpack on, walking in there, and if anything, they're gonna be like, hey, what's that?
Yep.
And then they see you use it, instantly they're gonna be like, that's cool.
Right.
And then it's extremely efficient. And you don't have to carry a bunch of stuff, throw it in your bag, and then just grab your microfibers, grab the tint, the patterns that if you already cut up and everything, head in, knock the job out, the efficiency of it, and then ladder work. Yes, I'm really looking forward to using it because every time I have to go up and do like a 5x6 or something like that, and like I definitely am the type of person where I wouldn't use a bottle. Like I've bungeed the tanks to the ladder.
Yeah.
I've done all that, but one thing that does scare me is when I am taking a handle up that high.
Oh, yeah.
And if that does slip off my pouch or come out of my pocket,
Swing down and hit a window or
oh,
something.
now you're replacing a slider. You just cost yourself thousands of dollars.
Yeah, you just cost yourself the job.
Oh yeah, and let alone if it drops and say you chip a tile.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's
Or a
you
floor,
got-
dent the wood floor.
Yeah, then you got some real problems. Then.
Yep, absolutely.
So yeah, I'm excited to try it out. On
Yeah,
on ladder work.
we obviously it's a need, and it's a add-on to the TRÜ Spray Systems.
Well, I wasn't even thinking about the fact that the interchangeability, the fact that like if you already have the tank system, it's an absolute add-on because having the batteries everything being interchangeable with them, it's not like you have to bring a bunch of different extra things. So like I got to charge this over here and charge this over here. It's like no, my battery is interchangeable between both of them. Say your battery dies on your tank and you got the backpack with you, you got another battery on you already as it is, and let alone that it has the pouch to put an extra battery in there.
Exactly.
And then it's the interchangeability of everything.
Yeah.
Like, that to me that's big. That's key.
Yeah, we really put some thought into the
No, it's
spray
well
pack.
it's well constructed. You can tell some thought was put
Yeah.
into it. Again, they're like it's got the what's the hard stuff on the outside called?
EVA.
Yeah, it's
shell,
like it's like actually it looks super durable. So
Yeah.
That's what we wanted. Yeah.
yeah, I might. So I think I told you this idea, and I actually did it. So with the actual tank system,
Yeah.
I connected on the end of the gun a mister system
Yep.
to take to my daughter's softball
Yep, I
games, and
remember
I've set
talking
it
about
up
that,
like
yeah.
once or twice now, and everybody loved it.
Yeah.
Where I got like a mister system from Amazon that's like a stand that has 4 heads.
Oh, we don't say
and
Amazon on this.
I would set it up.
We never talk about Amazon.
But I would set it up like near the dugout where 2 of them were facing into the dugout where the girls come in.
Yeah.
And the other 2 are coming back towards the fans. And I took one of our tanks, rinsed it out real good, filled it up with ice.
Should have just left
Filled-
soap in there. It'd been hilarious.
But I completely filled it up with ice. And then topped it off with water and just sat there in a chair next to the dugout where the mist was hitting me and where we were sitting, but also hitting the girls in the dugout. And every time they'd come in from like an inning, they'd be like, all right, get us. And I'd just hold the trigger down until they got done going through and we'd be nice and misted. And I didn't even touch a portion of the tank throughout a whole day of softball.
Wow.
And it worked great. It was like, oh, this is pretty awesome.
Wow.
So this will be fun to take out and do the same thing with. Like maybe at races, we can use this at the crew tent to mist people down.
Absolutely, yeah. And with our other spray nozzles, so you can use the you can actually use one of the green and the orange one that we have available. You can put those on there. Those are misters. Those are specially so same thing with the TRÜ Active versus the TRÜ Spray Systems. They're that the TRÜ Active is another specialty tool of TRÜ Spray Systems, so that you'll have the orange and the green will actually be a mist, and those are used for maybe panes or windshields that are very sensitive to water. So you'd want to switch your
Yeah,
tip
I've
out to
already,
that.
I like the blue tip, but I've already switched.
Oh yeah, the
to,
blue tip's universal.
I've switched
Nice.
to the yellow one just because on some residential stuff, the blue seems to be like a little bit too much overspray. Like
Yeah.
I like how fast it is, and on commercial jobs, it's like for sure
yeah.
the tip I'm gonna have in. But now that I've actually ordered additional tips, and I'll actually rotate them depending on what we're doing.
Yep.
But on residential, especially if I'm afraid of getting too much overspray anywhere, I really like the yellow one.
And that's why I need that tarp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, no, for me, when it comes to cars, though, it's hard for me to,
Get away from the squirt bottles.
it's just, it's more like, I guess, trust myself or trust my guys with endless supply of water going inside of an electric vehicle. Mm-hmm. It just scares the living hell out of me.
You guys ever use the adjustable cone tip on the TRÜ Spray?
Yeah,
do you
I like
feel
that one
helps?
too. I like it.
It's almost like a spray. It mimics a spray bottle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I even liked the adjustment valve on one of them. I had the ability to adjust the pressure. Just
like
that adjuster was just
Yeah.
loose, so like you could set it right to where you want it.
Yeah.
And then a second later, it's full blast again. It was like, so I was like,
Oh.
but it was. I would
Yeah.
mostly leave it on full blast, and then if there was a
Right.
scenario where I know I
Scenario,
need to
yeah.
die it down and just get a little trickle for
Yeah.
like maybe wetting an edge without wetting something, you could do it. So that was nice to have. All of our setups right now don't have it because I had to swap out that head because the swivel
Yeah.
started like leaking, and when I went to take that apart, it actually broke that. So now I've just been like, yeah, I'm not gonna mess
Well,
with
you
that.
wear the shit out of them, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they get a lot of use.
yeah, they
but-
get a lot of use. So, do you guys have the new hose that we came out with?
No, I've seen it, but and I was getting explained to last night. So the difference is all the other hoses out there are air hoses, right? And
Correct,
this is
yeah,
actually
so-
meant for water. What
Yeah,
else
so
is different?
we complemented the rubbers and the polymers together in a consistency that or a formula that makes it more pliable, makes it more flexible, and that's why we call it the TRÜ Flex by
Okay.
TRÜ Spray Systems. Yeah, so it's a new. We have a 1/4-inch hose in the Hyper Green, and then the 1/8 inch hose in the Hyper Green that we debuted here at SEMA. So we're the
Okay.
first in the industry, I think. Again, just like the TRÜ Spray Systems, is that an 1/8 inch hose out there for an actual spray hose.
So that flexibility when you wind it up when you're done for the day and you go to unwind it, it doesn't like stay all wound up. Is that
Right.
part
Yeah.
of what
So
happens?
it's an ultra hybrid hose. So it has a smooth coating to it, very easy to clean, and it doesn't kink up. It doesn't have memory. It's real pliable and very, very supple, I guess you should say.
Nice.
That's
That
very
actually
nice.
that's really nice for ladder work.
Yes.
Because not all ladder work needs something other than the tank. There's a lot of like lower ladder windows
Yeah.
that I'm still going to use the
4 foot
tank.
tall.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of like little 4-foot ladder windows that I'm probably still going to keep using the tank
Yeah.
for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we in order to scrub some weight off of the spray pack, we implemented the 1/8" hose on there, so it really cuts the weight down of that, and then it comes with either a brass hose in the a brass trigger or a polyjet trigger. So you have your choice of the 2 different types of triggers. I know a lot of automotive and people that are around cars or maybe even the ladder work like the polyjet, but
Yeah.
the brass is available also. So
Yeah, I like the brass.
yeah, I like the
but,
brass too.
yeah.
I mean, I just remember like when I first started the TRÜ Spray, I was like, I was just gonna make an inexpensive system and rush it out to the market, and I'm like, no, I better really. That's just not me. I can't do that. I'm a perfectionist. I'm attention to detail, and
tinter.
all of my job. Yeah, I'm a tinter. I'm a detailer. I'm a I've dealt with high end stuff. So that I just wanted to. That's who I am. All right, Type A personality, high strung.
I think this industry,
tinter.
Yeah, a tinter. Well, I just described a tinter.
well suited for this industry. If you're going to
Yes.
be successful in this industry, you
You
better
have to
be.
be.
You have to.
You
dude.
better be
You have
those
to be
things.
that.
You better
have
develop
to be,
it.
Attention to detail is the number one thing.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
So yeah. So we're, I forgot what I was going to say about that, but anyways, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. Like, this is actually something I hear Alex Hermosi say all the time. Someone I'm always referencing. Like, take the time to make it quality now, and then it's gonna sell itself later, right?
Yep.
If you rushed it and you brought it out to market 2 years early
Yep.
and it was junk, you're not gonna have people using it, sharing it on social media, and telling all their other tint buddies that, hey, you got to get this thing
Yep.
because it's not actually high quality.
Exactly.
But if you take the time to make it high quality, you don't have to do much marketing because everybody using it is marketing it for you.
And I think
that
it's
applies to
done
I think
that-
all
yeah.
business.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Oh.
Yeah, and so yeah, I remember what I was saying. So like the brass. So I was looking at that. I was gonna do a plastic one. I was like, I would love to have a brass myself on a spray system or a tank or whatever, right? And they're expensive. They're like $80 when they first, to find it anywhere.
Yeah.
So I was, that was probably the hardest source to find it for a good price to get that the TRÜ Spray at that price point. But brass to me is just like means that I'm successful or whatnot. Like that's what I had in my head. I'm like, I want the brass one. When I saw people with brass, so it was cool.
I just like how durable they are and the fact
Well,
that
they're
they're
gonna
not
last you
going to
your whole
rust.
career.
Yeah, forever.
They're gonna last you your whole career.
The poly one's eventually going to get snagged on something and break.
Yeah, they break all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
So,
All the time.
Well, and let alone in my eyes, you got to modify them anyway. That little
The little nub
At the end?
nub at the trigger. Yeah.
hack that.
So
bad
we
boy
were
out.
thinking about like, sawing those off and or dremeling it or something like that. But that just takes extra production time. We just don't have time to do that. And
Some people like them, and that's one of those things too. I would say leave it on there. I mean, I think that's almost like
absolutely, because if they get it and they're like, oh, "Where's my nub?"
Here's a good idea based off of the QR code in the video thing.
Mm-hmm.
Make a video of an instructional on how to cut it off properly and make it look good.
Oh my God, I wish I had time to do that.
Yeah.
We are so busy with everything that we're doing. I mean, there's so much in my head
Yeah.
that I want to do. There's so much on paper.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
I just
same.
can't get to anything. I have so many products out there that I want to build, and that are needed, and they will come, just in time. And I just wish I could do them all at once. But
Yeah, unfortunately you can't. That's something I keep having to learn
It's
because
just
there's a
ongoing.
list of a lot of things I want to do. Like the fact that we're finally doing this has me ecstatic because
It's super cool.
This
This
is
is
something
really cool.
that I was trying to push for a while, but it's like that was part of a list of 1,000 things that I was constantly hitting these guys with, and they're like, whoa,
Oh no,
we got to figure out which one to go with.
well, no. I said yes the entire time.
No, I'm
but
just saying
also
I come
said-
at you with so much.
Oh, no, yes, absolutely. But I said yes from the beginning. But I also said you need to source out how we're recording it, I think pretty much the whole setup scenario thing.
Yeah.
And that's when when I came across Pineda Media and it hit my Facebook feed. I watched the video. I already was following Ryan, the guy, the owner. I was already following his social media, following his podcast and stuff. And then all of a sudden, I get the little pop up message of pretty much use my team to do what we wanted to do. And I was like, this is intriguing.
He sends it to me and like, what do you think about this? I'm like, I love it. I already follow this guy too. Like we were both following him. I was like, yeah.
Sent it over to my sister. She vetted everything out, and then we got on a phone call with him, and then we actually found out, okay, this is what's going to be provided. This is what's going to be done, and then we went through the whole process, and it's been great finding, like, just stumbling across someone that we could partner with that could provide all this, to where it's like we just have to set up the conversations. We do a little bit in the background when it came up to with like the talking head videos and the branding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now that that's all in place and how it's playing out right now, we're able to come in, have our conversations, and then beyond that, an entire team is in the background editing, doing all that stuff for us, to where
Well, that's what it takes.
well, and that's where it's like he's like, we need to set up the because we do have an area in our shop that we could absolutely set something up. Which I mean, in the long run, that is the goal. But right now, to be able to have something that's already everything's in place.
Yeah.
And even if we did that, it would be just to be able to record on our own time and schedule. We'd still use them to do all the editing.
You'd have to. You have time to do all that again.
No,
We're window tenders again. Like we have.
Yeah. I mean, you could order from, bleep this out, Amazon,
that word again.
film and tint your windows yourself, but the results you're going to have is going to be subpar to hiring us to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
No, I wanted to go with the professionals, and it 100% has paid off.
Yeah.
Like it's
No,
been
that's
like
cool.
as we started getting our content back, it was like we're watching it. I'm like, this is legit.
Yeah,
this is
cool.
awesome.
It's
Yeah.
cool. I
Yeah.
liked what you guys are doing.
yeah. And then getting
like-
the short format content pumped out constantly has
Yep.
actually created some traction. And like, yeah, that was one of my big things is we need to make more content. Like people's eyeballs are on their phones.
They
They're
are.
on
That's all they are,
YouTube.
yeah.
They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. They're on TikTok. We need to put more stuff on there, and it needs to be professional.
Yep.
Like if we're just half-assing it and spending 10 minutes making something on my phone, which sometimes hits and it ends up being decent.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're getting a little bit better at making that stuff ourselves, but we don't have the experience to like really make it high quality.
Well, this is how it happens. Is with the experience with, doing it, repetition,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So same thing with flat glass. It's just repetition, doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cars, repetition.
Yep.
That's one thing we've definitely figured out training in the last year, I'd say. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, we're constantly learning new things. You'd think as long as we've been doing this, we'd think we know it all. but
Right? Yeah.
Definitely
I
don't.
learned stuff new all the
Just
time.
in training people in the past, it would be like, you know, wasting film was like the worst thing ever. So somebody would be a prepper, an apprentice, and not touch film or tint a window for 6 months to a year, and now it's like immediately we're getting them practice on a window with scrap film that we have that they can, hey, like, all right, tint this whole window, we're gonna show you how to do it, and then we can come look at it.
Yeah.
And then we realize, like, wait, they don't even need to do the whole window. A lot of the harder things to learn is the cuts.
Yes, absolutely.
So that one piece of film,
Can be
let's
used.
put it on there, squeegee it, cut one corner, cut a side, and cut the bottom maybe even. Let me look at how that corner ended up and how your cut looks.
Especially
pull
corners.
it off, wet it, use
Corners,
that same
yeah.
piece again. You can use one piece of film
Sure,
to get
yeah.
20 cuts in, and now they just got 20 reps out of one piece of film that you were worried about. But like that came to me by like accident while training somebody one
Well, I
day.
learned that from
and it
you
was
too,
like-
and it's
it
kind
was
of it's kind of no-brainer. It's like
yeah, it's like once you think about it, it's like, why did we not think of this?
Right,
Like
why aren't
we
you
were having them
reusing
use a
that
whole
film?
new piece of film for every time they made a cut instead of bumping it over and doing it over and over again.
And then let alone setting up the actual, like, falling into or having extra windows kind of aside and then having a stand built and put that window in the stand. It's like, all right, if you have downtime, just tint this window over and over again. Yeah, now we have, you have a set of scraps that either cut off from a job and it's been sitting there forever, and it's like, the actuality of this using this, like, honestly, I'd rather you just use this and practice installing, because that's going to further you along as an installer. Yeah, we're getting rid of a scrap that we might have used, or it's going to sit there for like a year and not be used. I'd rather you have the experience.
Yep.
You have to do this over and over and over again. Like, I can show you the steps that I use and how I do a window. They're relatively the same steps for almost every flat glass window, but you're not going to get, like, for cutting for me even, I knew, and like I had the same thing in auto when it came to shrinking. I knew that I had to do it. And like, even when it came to cutting windows on flat glass, like my dad would tell me like how to angle it, don't angle out, like all the little intricate things, and would just do it. And it's like, all of a sudden one day it clicked.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, why wasn't
that's what you meant.
yeah, right.
Oh,
exactly.
yeah, it finally hits you, and you're like,
No, it's
Oh,
seriously.
and then like it finally flows in, but that only came with doing it over and over again.
That's the only way you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing is like that little hack that we figured out on that. It's you can get better faster by letting people get more reps in. So it's not like a free lunch. Yeah, there's going to be some film wasted in the process.
But that's
So
investment, though.
yeah,
That's
but-
investment into the installer. you
Yeah,
know?
so it's not absolutely free of cost, but you can have somebody better faster if you just start looking at it a little bit differently and thinking about it differently. You don't need the stand and you don't need the window at the shop either. One of the
Right.
things that we'll do is we'll let them take it home. You got windows at your house? Tint your windows at your house.
Yeah.
Take a video of it after it's done, up nice and close. Let me see it.
Yeah.
Like you got
That
a
is
friend's
true.
house that they want.
Everyone has a window.
Yeah. Everyone's got friends and family that all of a sudden now know you're tinting. And we don't discourage, like, if you've got a side job to do that's a family member or whatever, and you're at the point where you feel like you can do it and they're going to be happy with it,
Yeah.
we'll sell you the film. You
Go do
check
your
the
thing.
roll of film out, cut it at the shop even, take the tools from the shop and do it on the weekend.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Experience.
I
man.
don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
You're going to get better, and somebody else is now going to experience their house being tinted, and they're probably going to tell more people, and awesome. And you got more experience. Now, on our customers' jobs, you're that much better.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I sell with our auto boys. I have a couple of the guys that they buy rolls. Hey, do we have enough inventory for me to buy this roll? Yep. I already have the pricing locked into their contact and tint list and everything, to where when they want a roll, they just say, hey, I'm buying a roll. They buy a roll, and then whatever they do with it, it don't matter to me. The only thing I've always cared about is just, I just don't want you ever, like, obviously you're not going after our customers type thing,
Right.
But
Yeah.
I trust all my guys. Like I just tell them, if you want to tint and make some more money on the side, like I did the same thing, and I worked for. It's my family's business.
Right.
And I was doing my buddy's stuff on after hours and stuff like that. And the same thing, I'd purchase the material from my parents, and then I'd charge my buddies, like $100, $200, something like that. And then I would end up with a little more money in my pocket,
Yeah,
and it would be
that's
after
crazy.
hours and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
For sure. But I mean, ultimately, if you don't do that and you don't treat your people well and you don't pay them well, they're going to be that standard story that you are, or that how many other people have we talked to that you started tinting for somebody else.
Yeah.
Then you realized how much money you could make doing it on your own because they weren't taking care of you very well. And it's like, well, screw this. I'm going to go do it on my own. So, like, how do we prevent that? Like, we want to teach you to be able to replace us, because the more skills you have and the more things that you can replace us in the business, the more business side of things we can focus on, and training more people and growing the business and marketing and all of those things.
Get more jobs
And
in.
I'm going to pay you so well and take care of you and actually, like, really care and take care of you. I mean, how many people has Dad helped buy their first home?
A lot.
It's like
Wow.
at least
Good
a couple, at least more than a handful of people.
Yeah, more than a handful. Yeah.
So it's like, you take care of people, they're gonna stick around and be
For
part of
sure.
the team, and
Yeah.
like you actually care about somebody, they're gonna care back. Like
Yeah, and then like I said, even with that too, if they're doing, like, they're buying that film, like the experience aspect, especially with all of our guys that we have right now, we'll always have open door policy with if we are looking for a new hire, someone comes in with experience, it's always nice if you do get someone who comes in experience and they actually have the experience they're talking about
Yeah.
having.
Right.
and a good attitude.
And, well, see,
That's the hard part.
That's the
The
main thing that we,
attitude, yeah.
that's the main thing we look for now. Is I just want.
Attitude and attention to detail, I think, are two major things you got to have.
Oh yeah, are you going to be
Everything
a
else
team
can be
player?
trainable. Yeah. Right.
Do you want to learn? Are you open to learning
Teachable.
constantly?
Right.
Like we've been doing this our entire lives. I love going to the tin offs because I like to see what other people are doing, because then I'm gonna bite off that, and maybe it's something like and then I've approached numerous tinners when they're doing something, like after they got done competing and they're over, now that we have the lounge, but before we didn't have the lounge, it was just pretty much just go mosey around and
In the hallway.
Yeah, it was. I would be like, I saw what you did there. Well, why'd you do that? And the curiosity, and then they'll explain it to me. I'm like, oh, like I know I've mentioned this before with when it comes to paint protection. Nick from Fusion Tools in 2021. So it was the first year after the shutdown.
Yeah.
I ended up making the finals for paint protection. And paint protection, if I had to list my skills, is definitely, like, I'd say my third. Like I guess architectural one.
but you're still good at it.
No, yeah, but
One you're the
go-
most comfortable with.
Yes, I am obviously the most comfortable with architectural. I tend to lean almost. I love car tinting. I kind of considered myself auto tinter. I still really do auto tinter at heart,
Mm-hmm.
but paint protection was always in my eyes like my weakest trait. Like, not to say that I'm not good at it, but the things I picked up from the tint off itself furthered my installation skills in paint protection. And then like the tips and tricks, like I was talking with Nick right before the competition. He goes, use hot water. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, to clear out your edge. Clear that. That is at a point too that I guess I just wasn't paying attention enough. Clearing the edge out with just regular clean water without having soap in it. Didn't realize that. Oh, that makes sense. Get the soap off the glue before it dries. So it actually, because I was always wondering why I was having problems with my edge rolling. And then when that got explained to me, I'm like, well, I'm an idiot. Like that makes complete sense. And then he hit me with the hot water, and then he's like, you're heating the glue. It's essentially, he's like, dude, hot water, spray that edge, roll it right then, it'll tack. And I was like, no.
Yeah. Wow.
Went and competed, I hopped on the fender. We had to do a full fender that year. Had to wrap the back edge, had to wrap multiple edges. Went and filled the water bottle with hot water, wrapped it with microfiber, taped it up, tried to insulate it as much as I could, just because it's hard, you don't have that many options to heat water at the competition. Used it, and like as I was doing the fender, I'm like, oh my god, why haven't I been doing this the entire damn time?
Unreal.
And then surprisingly enough, like I thought for certainty that year, I was like, oh, I'm in the finals for flat. Like I loved my window. I hated what heat I was in. I was in the first heat, and I was window 1. So I was the very first window they judged.
Yeah. So you were just saying you wanted to go back to talking about the transition from auto to flat.
I wanted to talk a little bit more about that, because when you're dealing with cars, you're dealing with small areas, your small windows or whatnot. And I think that the transition that people might have is that the window film is larger, right?
Yep.
You have a larger window film. Usually on a step stool or a small ladder or something like that. You have to go up and down. You're like a Stairmaster all day.
The funny part with that too is like everyone thinks, at least you find out, at least when I did, when I was being taught how to do flat glasses, how my introductory into it when I was like 11, 12 years old, it was a small bathroom window that the customer wasn't getting done. And my dad would be like, do you care if my son tints that window? And that was my introductory to flat glass, was tinting those little windows. And then you find out a little bit later on, when you finally get to a bigger window, 3x5 and slider and stuff like that, like, oh, those are the easy windows. The small windows are the hardest
small windows.
Yeah.
The kitchen window, the bathroom window, the little panes. Those are the ones that take forever. The big ones are easier. Yeah.
That's like the next level we're actually currently using for training right now, actually, is like they get reps in at the shop on the extra window or on their own windows or whatever. And then if we're on a job, and stole this from my dad, and we've talked about it recently, if we're on a job and they're not doing the closet windows or the bathroom windows or these little windows, and we've got time, and they're hey, when you're done prepping, go tint those closet windows and let me know when you're done, and I'll come check it, and let the customer know, like, hey, we can throw that in for you. I'll have my guy that I'm training do it. And
that's a good idea.
Yeah, so it's like another way to get an extra rep in, and the customer is getting some extra value out of it.
They love that.
Yeah, so that's a nice little thing that we that was something we picked up from him, but didn't realize it till recently.
Oh yeah, no. In my eyes, it molds you into a better tinter, because if you get good at those small windows, you're gonna be just fine at the bigger windows. You'll be just fine.
Yeah, because home windows are dirty windows. I mean, there's some. And again, we have a TRÜ brush, a brush out is what I call it. So it's a brush. I don't know if you guys use brushes for.
I do occasionally. I've got one in my toolbox, but yeah.
I mean, like
I saw you use it at the tin off, and I was like, oh, I need to get one.
I just cannot believe that anybody would be able to do a residential job, or a skylight, or an out OSW film, outside weather roll.
Especially exterior.
Dude, like if you don't have a brush to brush out those edges, and then a TRÜ spray.
That's mainly what I'm gonna use.
Just spray that out, right? I mean, like you have endless.
That's mainly on most windows. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna clean the window. I'm gonna OFA in on the edge if I can, and we lay it down enough micros where I'll actually use this tank, especially now that it has so much pressure, and just wash it out.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm washing all my edges before I wipe them down in squeegee, and you can see just dirt pouring out of there when you do it, and then eventually it's coming out clear, and okay, now we're good.
You're done. You flush the whole bottom out.
Especially even on like new windows too. I mean, if it's a new build,
Oh my God, you have the
people
dust.
don't realize
Especially out
how
here.
much. Yeah,
You have that construction dust and the wood chips
Yep.
in the new like Milgard windows. You just spray, you spray that out, and before, like when I had like a pump sprayer or tank, pressurized tank, I would try to avoid that because I'm going to blow my pressure by trying to blow out the bottom seals. So now I could just blow them out all day long.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and up high windows too. A lot of times, I'm sure you've come across this. A really up high ladder window, and you get up there, and there's like mud in the edge of the windows. Like their final clean wasn't really that good, or even the bottom seal of the window isn't textured or painted because they know no one's ever gonna see it.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my gosh,
you gotta let the customer know, like, hey, they didn't finish this up here for you.
There's no paint.
Yeah.
Their cleaning crews clean to a point, but nowhere near what's needed when it comes to installing on the window itself. Yeah, the amount of drywall dust and wood chips and everything that is caked into the bottom of the window. If you don't have something like before, it would be this squirt bottle, which then you're blowing through a squirt bottle, then you had pressurized tanks, and then you're blowing through your air, you're wasting all that. No, now it's like bring the tank in, have the TRÜ.
Bring the tank in, use the TRÜ the brush out, TRÜ spray brush out, and just scrub the crap out of that. Scrub the whole thing, outside the frame and everything. Because another thing is I always tell him my guy is to clean the outside of the edges. Wherever the film is going to touch, that needs to be wiped and cleaned.
I'm crazy about that.
Yeah.
But I'll mainly just wipe it all with a micro. Like just anything around the frame is getting wiped off with them. Even commercial windows.
Yeah.
If we're pulling the rubber gaskets on a commercial window, we're putting the micro up in that frame and wiping it out, and then the
Use your hard
exterior,
card, get it up in there.
the exterior portions of the frame that the film should never even touch, that needs to be clean.
Absolutely.
Because you might accidentally touch it.
Absolutely.
And if you do, now you got dirt in your window.
Absolutely.
Like why? Because you didn't want to wipe an edge off. Like
one little extra.
Come on.
Extra
It's gonna have to be wiped off no matter what when it comes down to it too. It's getting wet, so there's zero. That just comes down to the prepping process, and to me, that is obviously the most important.
It is the most important thing
when it comes
to
to
that's why we start them all off with that. Yeah.
With the prepping, right?
Yeah.
It's still a good thing to start people off on because it makes them productive immediately, and when they get that down, then they can actually tint cleanly.
For me, as soon as you get that down, it's when I can walk up to the window and you're confident. I'm asking, is it clean? You're saying yes, and I'm just going, all right. I'm gonna drop my tint. I'm gonna stick it, and depending on how my install goes, I'll know how well you clean this.
Exactly.
And then 100%. When I get to the point when I don't have to look over your shoulder, and I know every single window I'm throwing up, I'm able just to throw window. Like, all right, you're now ready to start hanging film because you get it.
I love seeing the transition from the very beginning to where they are now.
Yeah, it's actually like one of the most rewarding parts of my job now. Like, especially thinking back and having conversations with my dad and other people in the industry. Like, all right, we've got skills now. We know how to do this. We're pretty good at it. But we didn't start that way. And somebody dedicated some time into us, and multiple people really over the time, even other people you've worked with. And now knowing that, you've trained somebody else up to where they've got this skill, this trade that can take them anywhere. There's like anywhere in the world that's, not in the middle of like a giant war or something or falling apart.
Right.
You can go and this trade will provide for you. Like
it is pretty neat. Man.
You can move to, especially in the U.S., any major city in the U.S. If I decided, like me and him get into a big brawl tomorrow, and we're never talking again, and I'm leaving Vegas. There's any major city in this country I could go. I don't even need to go start my own business. I could go work for somebody else as an installer and make good money tomorrow.
Especially if your skills are skilled. Yeah.
Tomorrow, right? So
especially in our industry. Our industry is starving for skilled labor.
Yeah.
Like during the summer, or at least like during the 2 years after the pandemic, like the surge that we had in our industry, like if I had the installers I have now, because that's when we started training all of our new guys and bringing them in, if I had those installers now, the numbers we probably would have been astronomical. We were at a book 6 weeks out when it came to cars. Houses, we were 4 to 5 weeks out, and it was...
It's nice.
You get to the point where it's like, yes, most customers they'll understand they were waiting, because every industry almost was like that too, is because everyone was short on labor.
Yep.
I mean, the houses right now, how they're just throwing up houses. Like pretty much, it seems to me that only credential you need to get a job in construction right now is, can you hold a hammer? All right,
Or
you're
can you
hired.
show up and work hard? Really?
Yeah, can you show up? Do you want to? Yeah.
Well, but even with that though, it's unfortunate that like how they are throwing up homes now, and it's not just one builder; it's all the builders. It's either you get lucky with the house you purchased and the fact that you got the A team, or you end up getting the B team of the guys that just like, yeah, they are showing up. They said they knew what they were doing. They kind of know what they're doing, but they're skipping multiple steps. Like the home builder, like where I got my house, like it. Technically, in our value, is a high-end home builder. That's the reason why I went with them. Is I bought for the quality. I knew it was going to cost a little bit more, and there was quality aspects throughout like the house, but like the finishing work was crap. Like and laying baseboards down before they put the tile in.
Yep.
So now if I
you
rip out
gotta
my
cut 'em.
baseboard,
Because I even paid for the 3-inch baseboards, right? And then they put them in, and then when the tile goes in there, now I have a 2-inch baseboard. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Put it on top of that.
It's just being short-sighted and cutting corners and trying to do stuff
They're not
fast.
skilled.
Yeah.
They don't. They're,
Well,
they're,
and
yeah, they're
sometimes
cutting
it is
corners.
people that are skilled that are just rushing stuff. They know it's not the right way to do it. Like anytime I see commercial windows that are tinted when I'm out and about, and the gaskets are cut, I'm just like I'm tearing my hair out.
Yeah.
Like why?
Well, they just haven't.
Why
Why been
did-
trained?
Yeah.
Or they don't know any better. Because we did do that to begin with.
Well, I know, but I know people. I know people out there though that have been shown how they can come out and they
Yeah,
refuse to still do
that's-
it that way,
that's
and it's
right.
like,
Right.
Yeah.
why?
Laziness.
Because I know how to do it this way, and I can do it faster this way. Like,
Laziness. And
Yeah.
my motto is do it right or don't do it at all.
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Just
Yeah.
do it right the first time.
Yep.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
If it takes you extra time, that's just the way.
Well, the
should do it.
problem is like I get it in this scenario that I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
if you've spent 15, 20 years getting good at doing it that way, and you can do it so good that the average person is never even going to know what we're talking about,
Yeah.
and the window looks perfect, like you're not thinking of the big picture, like somebody might eventually see that you just damaged their gaskets, or you might be wanting to train somebody else up, and training them to be able to do that the way you just did it without hacking it up is going to take a lot of time. Compared to training somebody brand new on how to take a hook tool and pull those out,
Yeah.
and how to clean that window perfectly,
Yeah.
and within a week be able to tint it, like because
Easily.
Well,
especially
there are some gaskets you do have to cut.
Oh no, no.
Well, yeah.
The pole gaskets.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I'm
should
talking
be
about
cutting
like
those.
commercial
No,
pull gaskets.
no,
No, I
you
see
should
those cut all the
never be
time,
pulling-
and I know
What?
people that still cut them,
Okay, that's
and
terrible.
it's like
Yeah.
it drives me insane. Like they cut that little edge off instead of just pulling the whole thing out, and it's like the window
Or just tint it
could be
without,
perfect.
without even cutting it.
Yeah.
you can still do that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
technically what we have to do in the tin off.
yeah.
That is.
That is the
Yeah.
tin off rules, which is weird because I would.
But I'm used
I
to
would
doing
never.
that because I do that because I not all the time pull seals.
Well, see, that guys, we
Yeah, that's we've shifted to like if they come out, they're coming out.
Yeah.
period.
Oh,
especially
yeah, if they
with
pull, they pull. You
especially with having 3 or 4 guys on a job and 2 or 3 of them are only a year or 2 in. Like I know that with those pulled out, those windows are gonna be perfect every
yeah.
single time. And we've got
Well, they're
enough
gonna be
people
tucked
on
in
the
there
job
too, and
site
it's
that the
gonna look
newest
way
man
nicer.
on the training block is gonna be the one following behind, putting them all back in too. So it's
Yep.
like if you're having to do it by yourself and pull them out and replace them, and like okay, that could feel like a lot of extra time.
Well,
But
the
if-
majority of my career, I've worked for myself only. I've done everything myself. I actually have a ladder, a little giant ladder, and it was the I think it was like the very first one,
old school
the
style?
yellow one,
the
that
U
only-
hook thing that comes out.
Yeah, but it was a yellow ladder. It's not orange.
okay.
So it's and I bought it the first one. It was 25 years ago. I'm still using that, and it's done every single job. I've never had to rent in besides a scaffold, of course, but it's gotten to be every window. It's crazy.
Yeah, we
That's
have-
it's a cool thing. So I think the tool to have
Yep.
if you're a residential commercial tinter is to get a really good little giant ladder.
Oh, we bought 2 when they first rolled out, and
They're
they
the
were
best
being,
ladders in the business.
they were being sold at a trade show. My dad spent, I think it was $400 at the time, and it was like 20 years ago. So
Yeah.
at that time, spending $400 on a ladder
I
was
remember
like,
that. Yeah.
what are you doing?
Right.
We still have both of them.
Every
They
day.
still work, and that's the only ladder in my eyes that I am completely comfortable standing on
Right.
in any position.
Safely.
Tilt up,
Yeah.
A-frame, because we end up getting we have the skyscraper now if we really want to get to the high windows if the room permits
What
us
does that go
actually
like 22?
22 foot standing, and you can reach up to the 25 feet. And like I've had to only
But
be
you
up
need
there
to use
once or
another
twice,
little
thank God.
giant to adjust it.
Yeah, that's the more crazy part is when a customer sees you drag in that thing and then you drag a ladder underneath it and they're kind of watching you. You're like, You're using the ladder to set up the ladder. But then they see that it's like the previous guy told them like, oh, he's got to bring in scaffolding and do all this just to do that one window. It's a nice big open room. It's like, no, that's not necessary. I have an A-frame that will reach that. And then standing on top of that A-frame, I'm completely comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't worry about it moving. I don't need no one holding that thing. The base on it, it's built amazingly, and it's good to go.
Especially the new ones are really robust.
Yes.
Yeah, the yellow ones were kind of I think they held 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And the new ones hold, I can't remember, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe like 350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
well,
all I
what'll be
could
nice
afford
is
back then. So
getting up on one of those and not having to hold a squirt bottle or a hose. Or the hose most of the time won't reach that high. Is gonna be nice. I'm excited to try that thing.
I'm very excited to try that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is I don't know where we need to shoot this at, but this is the mobile spray pack here.
Dude, that thing is so nice.
Yeah.
So we have the eighth inch hose on there, with the brass nozzle there. So again, lightweight for the hose. Nice hold handle, right?
The 3-liter bladder. Or?
Yeah. So in here, what's unique? We were talking about hot water.
Yep.
So a lot of PPFers use this. So we have a
Insulated.
fully insulated
That's nice.
pouch, so you can put the hot water in here. It's going to stay hot a lot longer.
Oh, that's really cool.
Actually, I'm excited actually for paint protection for that reason, especially hot water. It's not have to have the hot water bottle
And
hanging off me.
you guys tried this on, right? And you think it's pretty comfortable, right?
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying.
It's crazy
That clip
comfortable.
system is exactly how that harness
I was
system
saying
is.
I
It's
could
very
go
similar.
for a run with that on, and I'd
It's
be
very
cool.
similar to that the pack I have.
So the rechargeable battery, this is the same one that goes in the TRÜ Spray Systems.
That right there, to me, that's key. So you're having both tools. Get
yeah.
the tank,
Whoops.
and then get this thing together.
And then we call the Louis Vuitton material that's in here. So it's an actual TRÜ Spray System
Yeah, it's got your
material
logo
that's
all
printed
over it.
out.
Yeah.
The intelligent switch. So this will actually have an auto off. So if you leave this on, it'll turn itself off.
That's
And then it has a voltage regulator and meter in there. So you're fully protected. The battery is now fully protected.
Okay.
And then the hydro pump, which is actually made for us too. So this isn't your Amazon type pump. This is an actual TRÜ Spray pump that is made specifically for us. Now this is our third generation. Obviously the first generation, we go through our cycles and figure out what we want, what we need, what needs to be better. And I think that this one is the most robust that we have so far. Very lightweight, and again 90 psi, full constant with that. So
I love that.
nice hard shells, so you're ready to go. Nice comfortability, and it has a small, medium, and large, so you can really adjust it. So anybody from a small person to a large person can fit into this thing.
So this won't go live or be available for people to watch for at least a couple weeks. When is that available? When
So
can
it's
people
going to be
start
available.
ordering it?
We're going to start pre-ordering Black Friday,
Okay.
and then it'll be available maybe in the next 2-3 months for shipment. Yeah.
Okay. So it'll still be in pre-order by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so
Okay.
we're in pre-order, and then we'll be close to delivery on that.
All right, cool. Well, if we can get our hands on one before that to test it out for you a little bit, you let me know.
Let us
Yeah.
know.
You let me know.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Also on our site too, another exciting thing is this year we had our own tanks built. So the Cornelius tank company now makes our own tank. So it's stamped the TRÜ Spray Systems tank with a new lid type. So
Oh, really?
So we're trying to build a whole line of products. So we have our own hoses, our own tanks, our own airless spray systems. And we're coming up with a lot of new products here in the future. So we're going to be around. We're going to be around, and again, customer service is our number one top priority.
It's so cool to see you doing this, knowing you for as long as we have, and seeing you at the Panorama meetings, and just like seeing this come to market, and then using it and seeing how well it works, and how much everybody's adopted it. I know we're not the only ones using it.
Right.
And the fact that you're coming out with more is really cool, man.
Yeah, I think there was a need in the industry for
Almost
for a
definitely.
quality a spray pack. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we answered the call.
No, really looking forward to getting my hands on it and
Yeah.
using, especially like I said, a lot of work. Which majority of the time, it's either if we are on a big job, we'll keep the guys off the ladder.
You know what's cool about this too is what's cool about this is that you have a TRÜ Spray, right? You have your guys with the tanks in there, and then you roll in with the backpack, and you're on the ladder. The customer is just like, "What is going on? This is just like you're branded."
Yep. Oh no, absolutely.
and it's very professional.
Oh, definitely. It adds that next level. It levels up your company. when it
There's
does
the
come down
word,
to it.
next level. We are the next level.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to too. Like you're walking in instead of someone walking into a customer's house. Hey, can I use your sink to fill my bottles? 'Cause
Yeah.
Let alone like
And
I
now you're
understand
using
it-
tap water,
Which
right?
is what's crazy is how long it took for us to even switch over to a tank. When I came back from the military, we were mostly using hand pumps, squirt bottles still, and a couple people were using the pump up sprayers. But like it
I was
took
the only
us
person, yeah.
forever to. So it's like I know how stubborn people can be in this industry. Like, hey, I know you think it might cost a lot. You need to try this thing because it's gonna make your life a lot
Oh,
easier.
the added value on the efficiency is what, and it's just like the film handler and everything else, and the fact that it's
Right.
like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to use this because you think it's going to be hard, it's going to take extra time. It will at first. It'll be a little bit weird at first, but as soon as you get down how to use the tool properly, how efficient you will become and how much more work you can get done, and then also leveling up just the look of you walking into someone's
Absolutely,
house.
yeah.
It's added value that you can't, in my eyes. It's whatever it ends up being cost wise, or you think it might be too much money, you're investing.
You're investing in the product, right? You're investing into a tinter. I'm a tinter.
Yep.
You're investing into a company in the industry. It's an investment, but it's going to save you. I mean, how much time do you guys, if you add up that value of time that it saved you, just not compressing the tank anymore, right?
Or forgetting the inflator.
Or saving money, or if you know,
Trips to the million different things that
there's just
I
a million,
can't. I
there's
don't.
so
Couldn't
many
even
things
add
that
it
this
up.
will save you time. It'll ultimately save you money. It'll pay for itself. What kind of a product does a squeegee have an ROI? Return of investment? No, zero. Has zero. Well, I mean, it's not going to make. It's not going to. Well, yeah, I could. Yeah, but it's not going to make the money that you. Yeah,
Yeah, there's been some improvements in squeegees that,
I guess we'll
make.
rewind that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, they're definitely.
Rewind out.
I mean,
it's making you money, but
I
it's
just
not
heard a
like-
story yesterday of somebody being down in Brazil. I think it was Nick talking about being in Brazil and watching these guys tint. He said they're some of the best tinters he ever seen in his life. They didn't have like legitimate tools. The one guy that he thought was like one of the best tinters he's ever seen ever looks at the squeegee he's using and realizes that it's like a tire that's been cut into a squeegee.
Whoa.
And like he gave them some of his tools just because they couldn't
Can you
afford.
imagine?
And they were just
Can
like
you just imagine?
they were
Well,
like they couldn't believe that they just had these like an Orange Crush is like compared to a tire. Like, come on.
It is a huge difference.
Yeah.
I mean, like his squeegees there, those products are just.
But
amazing.
again, it
They've
came from a tinner.
revolutionized, yeah.
Came from someone
Exactly,
who had
yeah.
to solve a problem, and like you didn't just make this because you thought, oh, this would be cool. Like you knew
I didn't
it
make
would-
this to make money.
Yeah.
I didn't make this. I made it because I needed something.
Yep.
And
that for my. And then I'm like, well, maybe I can make it for other people. Maybe I can make a business out of this. Maybe I have an exit plan for because I wanted to be in like the kind of I'm getting in the older. We're in the. I'm the OGs, right? So I wanted something else to do rather than doing labor work the rest of my life when I'm 60, 70, right? This was a new avenue, and it's exciting because I could use my graphic design and all my professionalism, and I can really outlet my creativity in this, and I think it shows in my products and my product boxes and stuff like that. That I can make my own shirts, and that excites me. Apparel excites me. So all that stuff. It's been an exciting journey for this.
And with all you can tell with the attention to detail that you put into all your stuff that you truly care. And then again, like majority of almost all the tools that are coming out that are making huge impacts in our industry, they're from tinners. And it was a void that people knew, we all knew we needed, and then it finally got to the point, someone stepped up and did something, and then it's like being able to put it out there is, to me,
It's another technological advance, really, if you think about it. You were talking about that earlier. Social media now gives us the ability, like, the more targeted your audience is, the more niche it is, the better chance you actually have, I think, of doing well. And, like, exactly who your avatar is. It's window tinners, right? Like, and you know that community well, right? So
Right,
it's
because
like,
if I go outside of this community, or like when we're walking, like
window cleaners could probably use this, right?
Oh, yeah,
like
detailers, window cleaner. I mean, dude, there's so much in the industry that this could be used for.
Absolutely.
But when we're walking, like all three of us are walking down in our suits and the back and the spray system, or whatnot, and they're just like, what is that? And then you explain to them, and they're like, huh? And they don't know what it is, and it's like, wow, they don't even know what. Like, this is all just industry stuff, and we're so industry niched. It's just it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're about out of time. I think we could keep going for probably another hour or two, honestly. But but I know you guys got to go, and I've got a plane to catch.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys having
really
me on.
enjoyed having you on, man. I'm definitely gonna have to do it again.
Yeah.
Get our hands on one of these and give you some feedback.
Right.
Use it. Maybe we'll make some content and show us using it on a job.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then I'll have you back on again sometime in the future where we can talk about some of the other stuff you're coming out with.
Oh, yeah.
You got anything else you want to talk about, address, plug? Is there any special dates or anything?
I don't think so. I think that the TRÜ Active is literally the newest thing that we came out with. We were really excited. And again, was debuted here at SEMA show, which is what's really cool is that we actually debuted the TRÜ Spray Systems 2 years ago at SEMA show.
Okay.
So SEMA is kind of like our place that we like to. I think it's important to debut things like that. So we really push this, and that's why there's such a pre-order and a wait for the delivery. And actually, SEMA was, we were talking to some people. It's not like it used to be, right? Because SEMA, I remember coming here as a dealer or like a shop, like you would want to come here as a shop and go, what new wheels do we get to sell this year, or what detail products, or what film and stuff. But like it's not like that anymore. You don't come here and there's nothing new, really.
Hardly.
It's not like it used to be. So I'm kind of old school, and I wanted to really bring something new to the industry here. And then it'll be available this coming year.
Okay.
Well, we definitely look forward to getting our hands on it and using it. And then, I can't wait to do. Like I said, I can't wait to hop up on a ladder.
Yeah.
And try that thing out, because that to me that's gonna be, it's gonna make ladder work.
You could probably
so
even
much easier.
jog with it too. In your
With your if I'm jogging with water, that's water I'm drinking. I'm carrying that weight. So
No soap.
you missed yourself, yeah.
All right, so hey, you guys know what to do. Follow along, hit subscribe. We appreciate it. Like, comment, do your thing, and keep following us on this journey. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Tune in next time. Subscribe.